Hey guys, Dr. John. I'll give you a scuba diving story. This isn't about cave. This one's about diving the giant kelp forest in Catalina. So there's a really cool way you can dive the kelp forest. You can take a dive boat, and that's really cool. I've loved the dive boats that I've taken off the coast of California in the giant kelp forest. The cool thing about that is you get to see different environments. So they'll drop you in a super deep spot, about 100 feet deep, and you can go to where the kelp forest stopped growing and go on the edge of the kelp forest, which is kind of spooky because you're just looking out into the ocean. It's an island, and you're literally looking out into deep water. And then, for a second dive, we do another part of kelp, which is a different environment, different biome. And then third dive, they do a really shallow dive, which would be like a grass bed and 10, 15 feet of water. And you always do progressively shallower dives when you do a dive boat because they want to help you get the nitrogen out of your blood so you don't get bent. It is cold. The warmest the Pacific Ocean is going to get up to 63, 65 degrees if you're lucky. But if you're going to be deeper, not so warm. Pacific Ocean is not going to get warm like the Atlantic, what we think of the Gulf, the Atlantic around Florida, where you get 80-degree water or something like that in the summer where it's just bathtub. It feels great. Almost too hot in my opinion. Anyhow, so you can take the water ferry over there with your dive gear in a suitcase, a roller suitcase, and go to the dive shop on Catalina on the main island. They have one right on the pier as you get off the ferry. Rent your tanks. They're going to give you a wheelbarrow with two wheels, so like a wagon thing. You put all your dive gear in there. You put your two tanks in there. You roll over to Casino Point, and you do a beach dive, a rocky beach dive. And they have some stairs that go in the water. I rigged up a side mount with a back mount in my rigging. And so I used both aluminum 80s that I rented for one dive, and went down to 100 feet from the beach dive there at Casino Point, through the kelp forest. Got to see a lot of different fish, a lot of different stuff, and made my way back up to the stairs. You just have to have a good amount of gas when you come back because you have to go through all the kelp. And as you get shallower, the kelp gets a lot denser. And then after I finished that dive, that was, I think, about an hour and 10 minutes. And then I went back over to the dive shop, got two more tanks, and did another dive. Basically the same thing. The best pictures that you're going to get are going to be in the shallow water, 10 feet deep, 15 feet deep. It's cool to go deep, but your best pictures, your best wildlife are going to be where it's really dense, where the kelp's really dense, and it's shallow. That's where your lighting's going to be best. Even 5 feet water. I have some really good photos from that area as well. So cool dive. My opinion on diving the giant kelp forest off Catalina Island. If you have any cool stories about diving the giant kelp forest in Catalina or any of the other islands, please leave a comment in the comments. Thank you.